But once you started the shot, I didn't want the feedback in the show, but I get it. I didn't say anything.
Yes, you did.
Then I did. After it started.
Let's see there. Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I've got to put that on mute.
That is one
That
thing
is one thing
that's really
Really
important,
important.
to mute this.
Mute it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Now we will have less feedback now. And soon, no. Okay. Now I'm going to take it that there's no feedback now, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I have my. I'm going to get a little place for Kitty just in case she comes and wants to eat. Let's get her a little place before.
And she wants to be in the meeting.
You
never know.
Be in the meeting. But right now she seems to be making herself scarce. A scarce kitty. Okay. Why, this is right nice out here. Right pleasant. Oh no, I forgot to bring a napkin. Keep having to get up because I forgot some. Well, I have a new spin on the whole concept of the one person thing. So I think I'll start with that. Now I want everybody to get up on your screen. And Barb, you can do this too because on your smartphone, you can be on Skype and you can look on your phone. You know that already though, right? Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you can. But I want everybody to get the outline up, and it's right on my Facebook wall, the second thing.
All right, you're up.
So, I'm going to start by telling a story about Bill Kelly. Now, Ross doesn't know Bill Kelly, Ross, but Bill's an old friend of ours who used to do my courses, my seminars. And I'm just going to tell an old story about him to start. This is kind of an important story for this meeting because it's about this concept of one person, finding one person. And you know, that, by the way, is a, it's in law practice, it's a concept, you know, lawyers say that. They say it only takes one. It only takes one case, you know? Like you get all these cases where you've, you know, you work like a dog and you get a $5,000 fee and it barely pays your, you know, your rent for the 3 months that you were working on it. And then you get another case and your fee is like $1.2 million and it takes the same 3 months. And it just takes one, you know? When you get that one case, then you move to a bigger office and buy yourself a BMW and you do the things lawyers do, you know, when they make some money. Light cigars with $100 bills. And so Bill went to it was like a convention for gay people. There were like 2,000 people there. Mostly they were men, but there were also some women. And there were a lot of workshops, like in the morning on one of the days, for example, they would have like 20 or 30 workshops running at once. And then they had other impromptu get-togethers and so on. And then in the afternoon, they had sort of like a meeting for everybody, a forum where everybody could, you know, anybody could speak out with a leader who sort of moderated it. And so Bill got up, you know, he raised his hand and he got called on and he got up, stood up, and he, you know, said that he had cured hepatitis B himself. And that his friend who he got it from was probably going to die. His friend hadn't cured it. And the leader of the thing said to Bill, he said, you know, Bill, you should be giving a workshop here instead of being a participant. Like you should step up. You know, you should have been one of the people who, you know, volunteered to do, you know, some workshops here. Because you've obviously really got something. And when the thing broke later, a bunch of people came over to Bill. You know, maybe half a dozen people came over. They were slapping him on the back and saying, hey, this is great. You know, wow. Good for you, you know. And then, this one guy came over and he said, I'm dying. He said, I have AIDS. It wasn't just HIV. This guy had AIDS. He had had pneumonia twice. And he said, I'm not going to live throughout the year. Please help me. Help me cure this. One person, there were 1,000 people in that room. 1,000 people saw Bill stand up. A dozen came over and slapped him on the back. And one person, one of the 1,000, said, help me. So does everybody understand how this story relates to finding that one person? I keep talking about one person. You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Ross, do you understand it?
Yes.
So Bill, the way he found the one person was he talked to 1,000 people. It's just that he talked to them all at once. So, let's say this was on TV and 20 million people watched it. If one of the 1,000 people, like we saved this, by the way, we saved this guy's life. Greg talked to him years later. His name was Chuck LaSpada. Did you ever see the interview with Chuck LaSpada, Ross? It's in the viruses section.
It's actually in
Yeah.
the video, I believe.
I don't know if it's right.
Yeah.
There's a transcript of it.
Yeah, that probably is.
So Ross, but you can look at it.
Okay.
His name was Chuck LaSpada. Greg talked to him 5 years later. He was fine. He didn't die. He didn't get another pneumonia ever.
He had full-blown AIDS.
And he had full-blown AIDS and he cured it. For which I charged him $150.
And he had a weekend away in beautiful Philadelphia. He came to stay with us.
People need a weekend. Had we tried to do a cure show with him, he'd be dead.
Yeah.
People need a place to go where they have continuous exposure for a period of time. And that's true whether they're curing herpes or whatever. And you know, you've all had that. except for Ross, who constructed it for herself. Right, Ross?
Yeah. Can you imagine at the beginning, when I got the little booklet, I thought yoga of the health. No, I'm healthy. I don't need this. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
And then something triggered inside me, and I said, okay, let's have a look.
Uh-huh. So the idea here is the person was 1 in 1,000. So Barb, if you go to a party and there's 50 people there, and you stand up and you say that you cured herpes, and your friend cured HIV, how many people are going to come over and ask you to save their life?
0.005?
Barb, what do you say? I was asking Barb.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe if I do it 5 times, but 1 or 2 people.
You have to do it 20 times.
Oh, 5 times. I was always
8 times 50 would be 1,000, right? According to that, that ratio, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
How many?
Look, regrettably, the answer is 0.
Yeah, 0. I can't be a left.
If 1 in 1,000 does that, and you have 50 people at a party, then 0 are going to do it because there aren't 1,000 people there.
Right. What's the critical mass it takes?
So to find one person, but there's another side to this, and that's what I want to talk about today. It's just this other side to this. Because there's a lot of different kinds of one person. Like, I've been talking about one person tipping this. But actually, each of you is like, in your own way, one in many, many. Maybe 1 in a million or 100 million. Like, I've never met anybody like Barb before. Or I don't know another Barb. I don't think I've ever met another Barb. Have you?
No, that's what Barb's looking for. Right, Barb?
Looking for 1 in a million.
It's 1 in a billion. There are only 7.5 billion people, so there are only 7.5 Barb's one. And I know one of them's in Asia somewhere. Actually, I think 2 are in Asia, so I don't know. Just he.
Well, okay.
You wouldn't want another Barb.
No, we
First of all, I
want.
wouldn't wish it on anybody right now.
Oh boy. Oh.
It has its good points, though. I won't be negative.
I think it does.
I have my friend here listening.
Oh, she's agreeing with you then.
She's very little. She's only 6, and she's really 5.
Hi. Well, don't hurry to grow up.
Hi, little girl.
Hi.
Hi.
You're saying hi.
Oh, because.
Hi there.
Feisty little tyke, aren't you?
Yes, yes. She's a fireball.
Good to meet you.
You just brought me some seaweed snacks.
Nice.
Ooh, my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have. They like them too.
We had salad last night, Fran and I.
It was better tasty.
Yeah, those broken things are really good. Norny, etc.
So we're talking about 1 in 1,000, and if there aren't 1,000,
Well, I mean, for example, Greg, of all the people that you've known
yeah.
who've been involved with us, how many of them would have funded us through thick and thin the way you did? Only you.
Right.
You are the one person who has the means and the will and the involvement and all the qualities necessary that all work together to cause you to do that. Now, and then you take like, how many of us, or take somebody like Barb, how many people do we know who attracts people and the variety of people the way Barb does,
With their clothes on.
and actually gets them to talk to us?
Yeah. No one.
No one.
No one besides Barb. I mean, there are people.
Certainly not me, you, Franny, or Ross.
Right.
But I don't know how many other people I know who were, like back when we had a lot of assistants, I just don't remember that many people who were like, where Barb always seems to turn up with a new person. That's the interesting thing about her. Like most people, they have their old friends or something. Barb always seems to turn up with a new person.
There's a new person.
Or Franny was the, what Barb?
So I just manifested a new person right here.
Or for that matter, who have we known who could do with the nuts and bolts stuff that has to be done the way Franny is done? Like she does the graphics and she kind of, she sort of steadies Greg when he's uncertain about what to do next. She helps him figure it out. And, Franny was the escaping students monitor at the course. She used to stop people from leaving and get them to talk to her before they left, which was really important. They were running out the door, like they couldn't handle it. So each of you, in his own way, is the one. And also, like Greg has been driving a car in Chicago now for how many years?
Well, I've had it for 6 years. No, I've had it for 7 years, and I've owned it for the last 6. And before that, I used it when I came into town. Every time I came here, the guy would say, here's my car.
Yeah, it used to be parked behind
Right.
Hemingway's house,
Ernest Hemingway's home and birthplace.
where he was
Parked
born.
behind
They
the
rented
house
space
there.
behind the driveway.
Going to drive there.
What an odd coincidence. I used to park behind Hemingway's house in Key West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Anyway, that car was given to me.
It's donated. It's a donated car. Somebody gave Greg a car.
And he used to pay for the gas and the insurance and everything. And so, actually, I had it here for about a year. He called me and said, Greg, could I possibly use the car 2 weeks from now on Friday, 7:30 to 9:30? And I said, Jim, it's your car.
So, Jim, it seems, was the one person, this unique, special person who was going to donate the car to our efforts so that Greg wouldn't have to pay for it, thereby liberating more money to do projects for the Cure Card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of the one person, and they're all different.
Boy,
all these one single people are different.
Ross is the only person who could have done sessions with Greg and me, I think.
I know that. I was thinking about Ross. That Ross is such a godsend because I never would have thought about anybody doing sessions with anybody if you hadn't come along. It just never occurred to me.
Mhm.
Does Ross even hear what I'm saying? Ross, do you hear me?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And I didn't know myself I could do that.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I was very worried. You know?
See, a lot of these people, these one-person people, make unique contributions like Ross doing sessions with you, and that changed everything. I just want you to know that, Ross, that your sessions with Franny and Greg changed everything. Like they're much,
I'm glad.
for one thing, they're both much more committed to doing their own immunity when they're not doing a session with you. But they just test a lot more.
I'm really glad. For me, it's a pleasure working with them. It's very, very nice.
Franny, was telling me to change the outline so that we ask people to sign up more. And I was wondering, maybe I ought to do that with somebody. Right now. Greg?
True?
You know what I'm going to want you to do in a few minutes?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to be Bill Kelly, talking to 1,000 people, because, see, the thing is, maybe there was only one person who was going to ask to have his life saved, but there might have been 100 people who were willing to do some unique thing, like, and they would have had to get involved first.
Yeah.
So what would he have said? Could he have just done the outline? What would he have said when he stood up? What would he have done? And I want you to think about that. And then pretend you're talking to 1,000 people.
Let's see, the first.
But first I want to do this with Franny, okay?
She's in the bathroom right now. She'll be back.
What do you want to do?
She wants to do something else first.
Oh, okay. What do you want to do?
I want to do this with you. Now we're right in the middle of doing the outline, okay? You're a person I'm talking to who has herpes, okay? You didn't call me.
Okay.
So I just want to ask you, is this real? Like, what you're feeling and hearing here, is it real, or is this a visualization?
I'm not visualizing anything. I think it's real.
Okay. So the way you feel different now, is that real?
Yes.
Like you're not just talking yourself into it or something.
No. I mean, I'm not sure sometimes what, like, when I feel different, you know, it's hard to imagine that it's so simple to change the way I feel, but it does feel real that it changed.
Okay. Well, I just want you to know that people have cured cancer with this.
Really?
What you're just doing. Uh-huh.
Hmm.
And we recorded them. I can actually play you a recording to hear the person curing the cancer.
Really?
Uh-huh. Now, look, this is not going to cure your herpes or, you know, whatever.
No?
This part, what we're doing right now, is where you learn how to cure your herpes. Get it?
I see. Okay, well that sounds good. Because it'd be kind
Yeah.
of serious anyway.
Uh-huh. Oh, are you ready to join the web college now?
You mean to learn more about it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would, I don't know what that means, you know, how much it is or anything, but,
All right. Why don't you click on that link right there where it says, whatever it is, starter kit or something, you see it right next to the movie on the homepage?
yeah, okay.
And look in there, and you see there's 3 options.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can join for a month, a year, or whatever.
Yeah.
So pick one. Just tell me which one you pick.
Well, just off the top of my head, I think I'd like to try monthly.
Okay. Okay, click on that.
Okay.
And that's how you join. See right there, it's a form.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So you want to go ahead with it?
Sure.
Okay, cut. So that's the change that you made in the outline. When you told me, like, don't go so long, do thing after thing, like at some point, like ask them to sign up.
Yeah.
That's last meeting. The last meeting we had.
Yeah, I remember.
That's what it turned into. Okay.
Good. Good.
And what I'm thinking, if I make a shorter opening movie, is that I'll pretty much do this outline in that movie, like to this point, where the person actually tries it, you know, and see if they get a signal inside.
Great.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's good.
Thank you.
Bayer, they had a look at the new outline before, and at a certain point it says to give the temporary password. And other passwords that were on your Facebook wall, I think one was love.
Love,
That's what you were talking about.
yes, love is the ID,
Okay.
And then the password is the number that comes below that.
Yeah, okay.
December, there's a number 62337 or something like that.
And we can
Yeah.
do that if the person wants to sign up.
No, if they want to sign them up. Don't give them that.
Okay.
No.
We use that only to do a lesson with the person doing the outline.
Well, suppose she had said she wasn't ready to sign up. In that case, I would have gone on to the next thing, which
Mhm.
was, I would have said, okay, here, why don't I want to show you something, and I can't show it to you without a password, so I'll give you a temporary password.
Okay. Okay,
So you
okay.
can
Now I
use that.
understand.
For a few days anyway.
Yeah.
Now, and then I
And
would
then
have gone,
it
I would have taken them
expires.
into the web college and told them to look for the self-assessment skill
Yeah, okay.
on, and I would have started asking them questions about key issues.
Mm-hmm.
So test this question, am I weak with people? When I talk with them, am I weak with holding, or in
Okay.
some way not very powerful?
Mm-hmm.
And I would have gone through the self-assessment. And if the person got yes, I would have said, okay, test this, is that one of my symptoms? And then I would have said, let's test, can I cure that?
Okay.
So what I would do is I would very methodically and carefully have people see their key issues as curable symptoms.
Okay.
Then I would ask them again, now are you ready to join the web college?
Sure.
On
Okay.
Tuesday, see, I was going to say, on Tuesday, we're going to web college.
Are you going to film in what you are doing on Tuesday?
What?
Are you going to film what you are doing on Tuesday? The lesson.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? I just filmed something. It's Christmas.
Christmas Eve on Tuesday, Christmas 20th.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to cancel the meeting. I forgot totally about it.
Okay.
And what
So
is,
at the
But
next
the next-
class,
Okay.
at the
good.
next class we do, you know, the
Okay,
day of
cool.
New Year's Eve, or it may not be, depending on, you know.
Yeah.
If you guys want to go do, you know, I mean, it's the holidays. Maybe we can just take a couple of weeks off from doing our classes, you know?
give me a
Okay.
break.
But on
Does
Friday
anybody
we'll
know
have
what-
on Friday we'll have the QT meeting.
Uh-huh.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. So I'll be in the class. Cool.
Right, good.
Great.
Mhm. Okay. So that being said, at our next class,
Right.
I am going to explore how to use the web college to get past people's resistance. Now,
Yeah, good.
this is not going to cover people like your husband who died, who just said, look, I will never do that. I'm not
Yes.
going to do it. You can't get past that.
No. Absolutely
You know,
not.
those people die, you know. But I'm talking about people who are involved and trying to go forward but resist certain things.
Yes.
They deserve to have their resistance gotten past. somebody who says, I'm not going to do it, does not deserve your help.
Yeah, that's right.
They have to earn
It's a
your help.
choice.
Yeah. You may love somebody. It doesn't mean if they're not deserving that you don't love them, but it does mean you're not going to invest in something that doesn't deserve investment.
Yeah.
So, that being said, Greg,
Yeah.
now we go to you. And the thing we're going to do here is I want you to see, you're going to stand up and talk to 1,000 people.
Oh, I'm Bill Kelly doing this. You said I was Bill Kelly.
What?
I'm not Bill Kelly.
Yeah. No, you
Yes,
are.
you are.
You're Bill Kelly standing up. You cured hepatitis B. You're going to talk to 1,000 people. Almost all of them are gay men and women. Maybe a few are their friends and families who may not be gay, but anyway. You're going to talk to them, and instead of just identifying one person who wants to be cured, you're going to see if you can identify all the people who can contribute something, each in his or her own unique way. Because each of these people is the one in some way or other. Like Ross was the one who was going to do sessions with you and Greg, and Barb was the one who was going to bring me interesting human subjects to experiment on. And Franny was the one who was going to design the whole thing, and so on. Okay, Greg, go ahead.
Okay.
So you slowly get to your feet.
Get to my feet and I wander up and I'm... Hello? Is this thing on? Hi, my name is Bill Pelly. I don't know many of you, and I'm really very pleased to be here. I almost died, so I'll tell you about that in a minute. I am the regional director of HUD. I live in Philadelphia. I have a position to me which gives me pride and importance, but I rarely speak in front of people, so I may be a little loud, out of sorts here, but please bear with me because this is important to me that I tell all you a great opportunity to reach you however you can be reached, and you decide what that is. I almost died, hepatitis. I had hepatitis. My boyfriend that I got it from, he died. But I cured it. I actually cured it. And it's not something I talk about, but I could not miss this opportunity because I knew that it wasn't just me, but I'd be helping all of you and all of our community, extended community, and of course, really everyone in the world through you. So you're probably thinking, how did he do it? What did he do? Well, I learned, and working with other people, how to actually do this. I was just going to tell you the name of this web college online, and you can all go to it, but I don't think, you probably say, oh, well, yeah, that's nice. But, perhaps I could just start to teach you, for whatever that's worth. each of you, on your own here, ask this question. Actually say it out loud, but incorporate all of you. As you're saying this, you're really connecting with your being. Can I cure things? And then you look for some indication, a signal, maybe a slight twitch in your finger, a change in you, some palpable way. Did anybody get a signal like that? Did anybody feel something a little different, or feel something upping your energy, or whatever? A twitch? Raise your hand.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I did.
Okay. So there's some people. Okay, back you. Thank you. I'm sure. I tell you, it took me a while to learn this. Huh? But some people are more dense than others. Yeah, I'm not sure if talking about mentally, but just all of us. In some ways. So, well, let me ask another question. Can I kill a virus? So say that out loud. Ask whatever. Ask, can I kill a virus? And notice how you are. So you've distinguished between a yes and a no. So how many people got a yes on that? How many people got the twitch? Raise your hand. I know, okay, some people in the back. Yeah, well, that's funny, because you're right in the back, and the people down front. But it doesn't really matter, because we're moving. Everybody's moving here. Everybody will move together at their own rate and do what they can do. Gee, I mean, gosh, if I don't know how much time I had here, but someone had AIDS, or
Okay, that's a good question. How much time do you have? What I'm not actually hearing the outline. Now, does this sound like the outline to you, Franny?
I wasn't doing the outline.
What?
Okay. Okay, you weren't doing the outline. Right.
You didn't say.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah,
That was what I was thinking.
I know, but I was being Bill Pelly. Yeah, but Bill Pelly might do the outline this time. That's why. If it were
You
me,
mean you were trying to recreate what he did?
No, I was using what he did and what I know about him, and I was embellishing. I didn't mention a Munich or Bayer, this guy named Bayer that I've known for so long, and these people that I went to their house and they do courses and all that. He would get all into that, I think. So, yeah, I wasn't really trying to do the outline, although I started doing it to some extent.
Okay.
So shall we do it using the outline?
I think we can you know what? I'm going to just assume that you didn't know. Were you, let me ask you, when you were playing a role, did you feel like you were trying to do the most likely thing that would identify the people that we're looking for? The people who, give you a car, the people who give Barb a place to stay?
No. I was just reaching out to them as a person, and I was being Bill Pelly, who Barb is, by the way, off right now, who was being Bill Pelly's kind of a person. He wants to be a person, so I was just being there with them and connecting with them and allowing them to connect with me as Bill.
Okay.
So I wasn't trying to do anything, really. And I was sort of part.
May I ask why not?
Because that's just what I said, because that's what I was doing. I was being heartfelt and connecting with them as a person.
Why were you doing that?
Because that's what helps to do, to have people see you as a person. For Bill Pelly, because I felt this is Bill Pelly's gay community, and he's talking to a handful of people, which happen to be 1,000. But to him, he was talking to like 2, 3, 5 people, something like that. So it was very personal. And
I'm sorry. I asked you to play a role.
yeah.
Is this what you assumed I wanted you to do?
Not necessarily, no. I did what I wanted to do in order to stay connected to the person, Bill Pelly, and to envision myself as Bill Pelly in front of 1,000 people.
Could I ask you to test, and I'd like everybody to test this, is this one of Frank's symptoms?
Yes.
I guess yes.
Me too.
And what is this that you're saying? What is this that you're talking about?
What you did.
Well, I did a lot of things there, and I did a lot of. So what particularly is this? I mean, because this is tranny system. This is.
Are we actually looking at more than one of Greg's symptoms right now?
Well, now he's being defensive.
Is it the way I'm talking, or the way I was being Bill Pelly, or the way I did not do what you assumed you wanted me
Well,
to do?
let's all test that question I just asked you to test. Are we seeing a number, like a mix, a matrix of Greg's symptoms as we're watching him?
Yes.
But yes.
Of course.
Okay, so there isn't any this or it or something. This, like the questions you're asking, the way you did the role play, like it's all part of this symptomatic matrix. And now you can see where you don't.
No, I can't see.
You know, well, I can anyway.
I mean, I can see what I did.
I can see why you don't bring in support from watching this. Because if one of these symptoms doesn't get you, another one will. You know, they're all deadly.
This is where Bill Pelly does not bring in support. Now, it may be my symptoms as well, because when I was playing Bill Pelly, I was envisioning and channeling Bill Pelly on Cape Cod in front of 1,000 sweaty boys and girls. You know, all dressed to nine, smelling nicely, and standing up, and him being kind of meek, and at the same time he's getting up there, and he's starting to feel his oats a little bit, but he wants love, and he wants to connect with him, and he wants to do a good job, so he gets a little attached there, but he doesn't want to, like, blow it, and he decides, boy, I'm really going to take the lead here, I'm actually tell him to test, or ask him to test, which he never did or would never do, actually, probably. He might. These days, he were.
We're Bill Pelly.
So if you're asking me, I was playing Bill. If you want to know about Bill, I'm telling you about Bill.
Remember how we used to joke about how, like, Bill had to get a whole new life?
I don't think we're really ever going to understand this because I'm not hearing. I think we all need help ourselves get to the bottom of what's going on here.
All right. Well, I'm sure there are many perspectives. And some are clear and some are not, and some have not been spoken because that's.
Ross, what do you see happening?
You mean right here with me? And this?
Maybe we were testing developed symptoms because Greg was channeling the guy. We can test you. We were testing developed symptoms and not Greg. Can we do that? Shall we do it? I invite
No.
you to do it.
Okay,
Yes,
listen,
okay.
Walter, hang on a second. When we play roles, by the way, did Barbara ever get back on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's on.
Hi, Barbara. Hi there.
I heard
So you can answer these questions I'm asking too, because I'd like to hear your input into this. Do you know what we're talking about?
Yeah, I heard the Greg's role play.
Okay. So when we play roles, we channel the person, okay? And what we're channeling, what we're trying to do, what we do in a role play, is we channel the aspect, the self of the person that can get any result. This unlimited, like, person who's totally effective and goes after the biggest and most important thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea is to what I was trying to do by having Greg play this role was to see how our outline can identify a spectrum of these unique people, each of whom makes a critical contribution. Like, Barb, let's take your life right now, for example. Like, you're staying out there in that house with the kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, would you say that those people are like the kind of person I'm talking about? Like, here are these people who see that you need something and they step up and give it to you, yes?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, those are the people we're trying to identify. And the whole thing that I was talking about, the thing I was talking about before, was that Bill was talking to 1,000 people and one person came and asked for help. What would have happened if Bill had been more effective and had spoken to them in a way where, like, instead of one person coming, a person came and said, hey, I don't really need a security thing, but I can give a card in this effort. I'd like to give you a card. And another person came and said to Bill, well, I think I know a whole bunch of people who need this, and I'd like to create some kind of an evening where I can invite them over and you can talk to them. Would you come over to my house and do this? And see, and another person comes over and he says, like, well, our organization should adopt this approach. Like, we're out there, like, trying to stop the AIDS epidemic, and we should use what you did, and so forth. You get it? Like, that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to, I wanted Greg to play Bill, and see, Greg doesn't even know that he's supposed to do that.
Well, I heard that, but I did not want to I was being Bill, and I was playing Bill from the past, it's true. But Bill...
In other words, you chose to not be effective, and I think that is not only a symptom, but it may be like a key thing that's been in the way of you producing miracles. I believe that you're capable of producing miracles in this game, and you don't. And there's major reasons why. And I think you just accidentally uncovered one of them.
Okay. I agree with that. And I test that so for that I...
Ross and Franny, you have got to help Greg cure this.
Okay.
Okay.
Because we have this Ferrari that's running on one cylinder. That's what we got.
Okay.
Okay.
That's what I heard my role.
That I did not go off into my normal get in my head and say all the right things and get disconnected and so forth.
I have an idea.
Yeah, but this is
Why don't we try that? Let's give you another chance. Go ahead and be Bill Pelly.
On a higher level. I was being Bill Pelly from the past. I'll say it again.
Okay, so why don't we just take you, yes, sir. Go ahead and let's see what happens.
I did not know it meant anything about the outline. You never mentioned outline, so...
Okay, that's another whole discussion, so don't do it, let's discuss that.
Oh, Barb's getting back on.
There was a time when, were I designing how to, hello? You're with me, right?
Yes.
Hey, Greg?
Yes.
There was a time when, had I been designing how Bill would do this, I would not have used the outline. Now, I'm trying to see how to, what I've done with the outline is I've taken everything that I know that creates critical aha experiences, turning points, inflection points, awakenings for people. and I put those sentences in the outline all together. And the idea is, if you do them all with one person, you will succeed where you would have failed if you only did one or two of them. So that's the idea of the outline.
Right.
Maybe I should write that down somewhere.
That's a good idea.
Yes,
No,
why not?
Do that, but that's fine to put it as a note.
but that's pretty important. It's a pretty important concept that one or two major things done with a person may very well not, have much of an effect. But if you do all of them, and last week Franny came up with another one, which was asking the person to sign up for the web college. And we've gotten big results with that, so that was a good one, to add in there. Okay. So, if I'm going to stand up and talk to 1,000 people, be me Bill Pelly or Byron Barnes, it doesn't matter who I am. If I'm going to do that, I'm still going to want to be saying the most effective things I could say. I'm not going to suddenly change it because this is a different situation. And throw out all my hard work. We don't need to throw away what we've worked so hard to create.
Yeah.
We've spent months developing this outline in these meetings, hour after painstaking hour, with changes going in every time. I mean, do you really want to just turn around and say, oh, well, that's not applicable here? Is that how you want to deal with it? Greg?
Are you asking me?
Well, I'm sort of asking everybody, but sure, I'll ask you.
Sounds like you're,
What?
of course not, but are you angry at me?
No.
Okay, so raise your voice.
All right. So now that I'm angry, very angry, but not at you. I'm just angry generally because I see this is what we all, including me, do over and over and over again. We have these things that are so effective, and we just toss them out, throw them away, ignore them. I do it all the time. And it really pisses me off when I do it, It's like hitting my toe on something. Hitting my toe on one of the rugs in the house, and I'll go, I get really pissed about stuff like that. Okay, Greg, you with me still?
Sure.
I'm not angry at you. Why would I be angry at you? It's like we're all doing this shit, buddy.
I don't know. I'm not going to answer that.
No, but I mean, if I see you do it, I could say, anger can be a very temporary thing. Like, I'll tell you what Baba's disciple said. Her name was Mansari, and she lived at the tomb, and she'd been there for like 50 years, and she never crossed the tracks. She never left. Baba told her to stay there, and she just stayed there forever, for her whole life. And she was the only person there, other than the tomb keeper, who I think went home at night. And she'd been there, alone for all that time. And she was totally, clear and lucid and just an absolutely wonderful person, an incisive person, And anyway, she once asked me about anger, and she said, Baba asked me, meaning her, he said, do you get angry? And she said, yes, Baba, I get very angry, And Baba said, but you let it go. And she said, yes, I just let it go. It's like a hot coal. I get angry and then I just release it like it's a hot coal. So we have to remember that about anger, that anger can be very specific and very brief. So it's not really anything to pay any attention to. You don't really have to pay too much attention to anger. You can just let it go, whether it's yours or somebody else's. But anyway, no, go ahead now. Try it again, Greg.
I am Bill Kelly. I'm Regional Director of HUD in Philadelphia. I cured my hepatitis B my boyfriend died because he didn't do what I did. I actually cured it. I learned how to do this with the good people at curedrive.org. There's an online web college that people can go to. Although I like to talk to people in person. I wanted you to know this. One, know that you can cure things. And not just the things you know of, and you can cure things that are seemingly incurable. That remains to be seen.
Okay. So describe, how is it to be him this time?
He was just getting warmed up. There's still Bill Pele just talking. Not really like giving anything that he thought was I mean, he was okay. He was just perfunctory.
Okay.
So Bill isn't really capable of doing it.
Our task is to identify these single people who are ready, willing, and able to make these very important and unique contributions. And here's the way this works. If you're talking to the wrong person, you're not going to get anything, no matter how perfect what you do.
Yeah. He has to
And so,
just to the right person right away.
if any of us were capable of doing this role play in a really perfect way, and let's say we really were Bill talking to 1,000 people, Bill would still probably only get under, let's say, 50 people, maybe 20 or 30 people, maybe 5 or 10, and maybe still only one who actually wanted to cure something, though others who might have been able to do a lot in other ways. But he would not have gotten 1,000 people. He just would have gotten some people. So number one. Two, you might be talking to the absolutely perfect person. Let's say Jane Fonda is the perfect person. But if you don't say not only the right things, but all the right things, and you also can't say any wrong things. Like, Barb? Where are you? Is Barb there?
I'm here.
No.
Oh, I'm mute.
Were you telling me a while ago that you just sometimes try to make people feel good rather than teaching them?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it
Okay.
has to be a
Yeah, you were telling me that you knew that was the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember? Like
Yeah.
that, you have to actually do it with them. You can't just make them feel good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's right. You know,
Yeah.
if you were doing this with Jane Fonda and you did all these things right, she was teetering on the verge of saying, "Yes, I'll call by her. I'm gonna play for your team. I'm gonna do this."
Mm-hmm.
And if you said something that made her feel good, she'd just veer away and not do it.
Mm-hmm.
After you did everything right, if you said one thing that was wrong, that'd be the end.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other hand, once she started playing for the team, and the deal was signed, sealed, and delivered, and she was on your team, you could then say something that made her feel good, and it wouldn't hurt anything.
Mm-hmm.
But doing that at the wrong moment would kill any chance of winning. So now,
Can I, since you're on the roll, so I shouldn't interrupt.
No.
Thanks, Bob. I know that's really sweet of you to just keep your mouth shut. I appreciate it. Just kidding. But seriously, what was it you wanted to say anyway, Glenn?
What?
What was it you wanted to say?
Oh, I was just thinking about what you're talking about and how I don't, when sometimes when people look at you and they're like wondering what the heck you're, trying to teach them, maybe we could actually address that somehow.
Yeah.
By saying, well, you might think this is kind of weird. Does it feel weird? And ask them if it does, or does it feel real? Did you see something different?
Show what's in their way right then. A
Yeah, because
consideration like this is not real.
we're just going to leave them like, okay, this is stupid, or something.
You're already
Well,
getting
it
some
is stupid.
resistance and feedback.
It is stupid, but I wouldn't know how to
You know what? I didn't hear the first thing you said. So I really don't know what you're talking about.
Do you want me to repeat it or drop it?
No, say the first thing you said. I heard everything else.
I said an idea is to address how weird this is in the outline when we first teach them how to test. Like instead of making them feel good, address that they're going to feel kind of weird, like actually point it out to them.
What do you mean by address that they're going to feel weird?
Some people say, what the heck is this, and you'll, if you say, well, this is unfamiliar to you.
Well, you're talking about when they're doing it, they say that?
Yeah, people do.
Okay.
You see,
Well, I'll listen. I'll tell you what. I'm going to call somebody tonight and I'll listen for that.
Yeah.
I'll listen for the person thinking that it's weird, okay? And then I'll get back to you.
But if they don't say that, then you don't have to do anything.
I used to address this, by the way,
You did?
in various movies and stuff, and I always thought it was an important factor. So I'm going to listen for it. I haven't really heard it as I've been talking to people, but I'm going to pay special attention for it now, and I'll see.
If they're wavering, like if they're having trouble, you can just.
Yeah, they don't ever seem to be wavering
Well, that's good.
when I do this with them.
Well, I just.
Okay, so now I'll tell you what. So I'm going to be Bill Kelly now, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just running this overtime, by the way, just so you know.
That's okay.
Does anybody have to leave?
No?
What? Are you okay, Ross?
Yes?
we're all okay.
All right, I'm gonna be Bill Kelly. So I'm in this big group, right? And he's calling on people. We're raising our hands and we're standing up in the group. We don't go up to the front. So I'm gonna be Bill. I stand up. Okay. I caught hepatitis B around 6 months ago from my friend Joe. And right now, Joe's fighting for his life. He couldn't be here. And I cured hepatitis B. He wouldn't do what I did, but I cured it. It took me about 10 days. I went back to my doctor and got a negative medical test on it. I don't have it anymore. First, I got a positive medical test from the same doctor. Okay, now I'm going to show you right now what I did. And if you want to do this, then follow my directions. So you're going to look for a signal coming through one of your hands. My signal looks like this. See, you probably can't even see it, but it's just a little tiny movement of my pinky. I'm holding my pinky over my head so you can see it. That's what my signal looks like. And the question, ask this about yourself. Can I cure things? Okay? So go ahead and ask. This could save your life, guys. So go ahead and ask this about yourself. Can I cure things? And see if one of your fingers jumps or moves or something. And okay, it should have happened by now. Raise your hand if it did. Okay. Now, what was your signal like? Jack. Okay, you're Jack. Okay. What was your signal like? Oh, so yours was like a pulse. Okay. And you, Mimi. Okay, what was your signal like? Okay, so it's basically like a good feeling. How many people actually got a little movement? Raise your hand. Okay, can I ask another question? Test this question. Can I kill a virus? Ask this, can I kill a virus? Oh, now, raise your hand if you got a signal. Okay, wow. So it looks like more people got a signal on the second one. Good for you. Now, I want to ask you, have you noticed by now that if you can kill hepatitis B, you can kill HIV? So you can kill HIV and or our friends, because I don't particularly have HIV, but I got a lot of friends. Who's got a lot of friends with HIV? Raise your hand. Thank you. Okay. All right. Okay. For them. Okay. Now, do you notice the change in the way you feel? Okay, I see hands going up. Yeah, raise your hand if you notice the change in the way you feel. Now that's that's another signal. The change in the way you feel is another signal. And when the way you feel changes, that means you have a strong God connection. How many people have had trouble with one of your religions because you were gay? Raise your hand. Wow, a lot of people. Well, right now, you're probably more connected to God than your minister was. So just think about that for a minute. You're laughing, but it's true. Okay. So the feeling change is the signal. Okay, try this. Just say, I'm now killing all viruses in all my body. Okay, and you raise your hand. That's right. Very good. Thank you. Wow, we got almost everybody doing this. This is well, you know, I think that we, as a whole, are more plugged in than the average people in the world. You know, we're just more connected, and that's why we get signals faster, because we really do. I've shown a lot of my friends how to do this, and we get signals a lot faster than straight people. Okay. Now, test this question. Have I cured? That's what we call this testing. Have I cured anything since I started? And everybody who's cured something, raise your hand. Now, we've been doing this. I actually set my timer when I stood up. I mean, we've been doing this for 8 minutes. And you've cured. That's how fast it is. That's how fast and that's how effective it is. And that's why I was able to kill hepatitis B. Because hepatitis B is a big, scary monster, but, you know, this is fast. It's fast, it's easy, it's fun, and it kills to death just like that. Okay. Now, are you any different? And maybe you need to see if you get a signal on this. See if you get a signal on, am I any different now? And everybody who got a signal, raise their hand. Okay. Wow. This is so... I've created... We've had 10 minutes. We've been doing this for about 10 minutes. And I've created a fundamental change in 1,000 people. Or all right, 900 in this room. Close to it. Close to 1,000. And you know what? The changes aren't over yet. So maybe by the end of tomorrow afternoon, I will have changed not just your lives, but maybe I'll have changed 1,100 or 12 or 1,300 people by doing what we just did. Think about that, how fast this could just move through humanity. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? And by the way, I just want to say again, you're lighting up my life when you do this. I'm going to tell this story to my grandchildren. This is, I will never forget you. And, okay, one other thing. I want you to say, is this real? Or have you been doing a guided visualization or something? Like, raise your hand if you know it's real. Raise your hand. Okay. Nice. Another thing I want you to know is that this is not the cure your hepatitis B. What we've just done is where you learn how to cure your hepatitis B. Okay? Now, I got a bumper sticker on my car, and you see this thing I'm holding up here? This is the West College where you actually learn how to cure it. But what you've learned just now is that you're ready to join the West College and start learning. When you got those signals, that's what you learned, that you can do the work. Because that's what you have to do to be in the West College. You have to do what you were just doing. So, that's good enough for now, I think. And I'm available. I'm going to be here for the week. Anybody want to talk to me? I'll be here another 4 days. So, love you. Cut. Okay, so that's my version of Bill Pelly. And what I want to put out to you is that I think that the outline, to me, the outline sounds effective because it rests very heavily on the person doing it, verifying its reality, rather than him being told something by you.
Well, that's what you ought to do in the intro movie, Bono.
Yeah, exactly.
Just what you did with pauses would be perfect.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, that was why I decided I thought I would, try this with you guys. Just maybe do a little rehearsal to do a new movie.
Yeah, after the initial shock that we learned that we should be doing the outline, even if we're playing Bill Pelly, that would be how I would have done it, just the way you did. I mean, I wouldn't have said exactly the same words that you used, but I get the idea. The idea is great, and you really ought to use that because it's very effective.
Well, also, I was Bill Pelly, and I have seen Bill Pelly be like that.
Uh-huh.
Bill has that inside of him.
Right.
That brightness, that lightness, that he's funny, he's cute, he's sardonic, he can be cuttingly sarcastic in a really funny and engaging and supportive way, He has all of that stuff. And it's Bill having trained himself on and practiced the outline.
Right.
That's all it is.
Right. Well, and really, that whole thing, just the way you were doing it, and no long lecturing and having, weird videos stuck in and everything, if you just did that and gave people a taste and told them just what you said, is it real, and did you see the effect it had on you and everything, and this isn't going to cure your thing, but inside here is all the information you need, man, I think you'd get sign-ups.
Maybe.
Sure. You could try it. I mean, it's worth a try. You don't have to throw the other movie away, but,
Well, no, I was planning on making the other movie, something that they, start with when they get their passport.
Oh, you mean the 4-hour movie? Yeah.
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 It's like what we did with and by the way, I would do this, the text skill that's in there, we would password protect that and have that be part of it. I think that maybe we have an opening package. I'm sort of not totally clear about it yet, but that's what we used to do. We used to have this thing that people would sign up for, you get the idea, right?
I think it's fantastic, but I really do.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Barb, what about you?
Barb's off.
Do you think, she's off?
Her call got dropped or something.
Falls back in, so it doesn't screw us.
All right. Well, we're pretty much done with our meeting anyway.
No, wait a minute. I want to wish you, all of you, a Merry Christmas.
Oh my God, yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you say it in Italian?
Let's hear
Buon Natale.
Buon Natale.
Buon Natale.
Thank you.
Grazie,
Buon Natale.
grazie.
And Happy New Year, too, I guess. Oh, no.
Merry Christmas.
No.
Well, we'll get to wish Happy New Year at the next cure meeting.
Okay. And I think to say that in Italian.
But thank you for the Merry Christmas, Ross, and for always remembering.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
For always remembering the essentials. We thank you.
So sweet. Thank you. All right.
So, are we complete?
I think so.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
So, all right, great being with you. Ta-ta.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Happy birthdays. We haven't said so already.
No, not happy birthday. Merry Christmas, Greg. You're a bit confused.
Jesus was always complaining to me. He said, darn it, my birthday happens to be on Christmas and I don't get many presents. I have to give all the presents.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
This is karma.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.